with Feed My Serving Children. My name is John. I'm one of the team leaders that will be helping you guys pack today. We also have with us Ashley, Carrie, and George. We're all wearing the blue hairnets. There goes Ashley right there. Here's my blue hairnet. So if you guys need anything today or you have any questions about the organization or anything really that we do here at Feed My Serving Children, look for a blue hairnet. We'd be happy to help you guys out. Well, welcome to the most meaningful 2 hours of your week. I like to share that with people and tell them that this will be a meaningful time for you. And in fact, I'm going to prove it to you by the time you guys leave here today. But I want to start out here in this opening time just explaining a little bit about Feed My Starving Children, why we exist, and what we do to help combat hunger in the world. So let me share with you guys today the story of one little guy. This guy's name is Nelson. Nelson actually lives in Haiti, and he actually goes to one of our partner organizations called Love a Child. The really cool thing about Nelson and Love a Child is that this is where your food is going today. So all the food that you guys pack today will be heading to Haiti to Love a Child, and actually Nelson himself might eat that food. Nelson in this picture is 4 years old. It's hard to believe he's 4 years old. This is when he first was brought to Love a Child. So you can see there's some very characteristic signs of malnutrition in him. You can see the bones in his ribs. You can see his hair is kind of light color, rust color, instead of a dark black. Now, Nelson has been going to Love a Child for a while now, and at the end of our time together, I'm going to share with you Nelson's improvement over time. But I wanted to use this picture here at the beginning to share with you why we do what we do here at Feed My Starving Children. Every day around the world, 1 in 9 people go hungry. Now what that equates to is that every day, at least 6,200 children die each day of starvation. So we think that number is too high. Feed My Starving Children wants to do something about it. What are we going to do about it? Well, we're going to use you guys to help us reach these people, these 1 in 9, the 6,200 kids every day that are dying. So you guys are our volunteers. What we do is we bring you in here to pack nutritious meal packed formulas for kids around the world. Without the volunteers, we couldn't do this. In fact, you guys are the key. You're kind of the labor force for packing these foods. And because you're here donating your time, we can really drive down the cost of food. We can drive it down to just 22 cents a meal, which is an incredible amount. So it means we can pack a lot of food for not too much money, and lots of people can get involved. So you guys are our volunteer workforce. But there's also another group of people that make this happen. That group of people happen to be our distribution partners. We don't actually have Feed My Starving Children sites all over the world. What we have are people that do really wonderful work in countries all over the world. They might run orphanages, they might run schools, they might run healthcare clinics. And what they do is they request food from Feed My Starving Children, and we grant their request, and they get the food from us for free. What they have to do is pay to have it shipped to them. So they pay for the shipping, but the food is entirely free. And then what we ask them to do is send back a report. Let us know how much of this food is being used, who is using it, and how our lives are being impacted. What it ends up doing is really enabling our partners in these countries to do so much more than they could do on their own. Because they have a cheap, inexpensive source of food, they're able to concentrate on other things like providing education or health care or running an orphanage. Food becomes the foundation for growth in these communities. Food and water is the bottom of the pyramid there. If you don't have food and water, you're not going to be able to learn when you go to school. If you don't have good nutrition and food and water, you're certainly not going to be very healthy, so you're not going to have good health care. And if you don't have good nutrition, you're not going to feel well enough to go out and work at a job and earn income to bring back to your family and support your family. So food becomes the basis for everything in these communities. If we can provide them with food and water that's nutritious, kids can learn in school, parents can go out and get jobs, people can heal from their illnesses. Even if you get medical attention, if you still don't have the proper nutrition, you're not going to heal from your illness because you're not getting the right food and the right nutrition that you need. Even if you get to a hospital, if they don't have food for you to eat, you're not going to recover from your illness, even with medical attention. So what kind of food do we feed? What kind of food do we pack? This is our manna-packed rice. This has been the formula that was developed in 1993 and first packed in 1994. There are 4 ingredients: the vitamins, the veggies, the soy, and rice. When you put those 4 ingredients together, what we get is a complete meal. The vitamins in the vitamin powder are what help kids' brains develop effectively. And the veggies, vegetables, you can't have a complete meal without vegetables, so the veggies are in there, potatoes and carrots. They're dehydrated, but when you add water to them, they plump up, look just like carrots and potatoes. Soy is an excellent source of protein. So soy is what is going to help these kids to rebuild some of their muscle that's been depleted. That rust-colored hairs, because their body is actually conserving and scavenging for protein. So it takes it from hair follicles, and it steals it from muscles, and it does all kinds of weird things to keep the vital organs running. So we need to get them soy, we need to get them protein, we need to get fast. We do that with soy. And then the 4th ingredient that is in the meal pack today is rice. And that ingredient is really important because rice does 2 things. First of all, rice is the most culturally acceptable food, which means we can send it all over the world and people recognize it as the kind of food they eat in their own country. The other thing rice does is when you cook it and you boil it, it doubles and triples in size. So it bulks up the meal. It soaks up the vitamin powder. It actually soaks up the soy, the protein in the soy, and it gives these kids a full stomach, which for a lot of these kids will be the first time they've had a full stomach in a very, very long time. So, like I mentioned, you guys are going to be packing this food today, and without you, we couldn't do this. So, you guys ready to get going?
Yeah.
Oh, let's do it one more time. Are you ready to get going?
Yeah.
There you go. Okay, so here we go. We're going to go over a few safety rules.